Hello, my name is Chris Steinauer, and I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you to Jacobson Company's Power Industrial Truck Training.
The operation of powered industrial trucks is a very serious business. Each year in America, operators are unnecessarily injured or even killed because they were not trained or careless in the performance of their jobs. Before you can operate a lift truck, you must be trained and certified. This training covers the safe operation of powered industrial trucks. If you have specific questions regarding concerns that are not covered in this training, ask your trainer for further information. Remember, the more you know about the operation of powered industrial trucks, the safer you will be. Know your truck. Check it out. Maintain alertness and anticipate danger. As an operator of a powered industrial truck, you will be one of many forklift operators at Jacobson Companies responsible for the safe and efficient movement of goods. By definition, a powered industrial truck is a mobile power-propelled truck used to transport material. It utilizes either stored batteries to run electric motors or has an internal combustion engine that uses gasoline, diesel fuel, propane, or compressed natural gas. Industrial trucks can be as unique as the many applications where they are found, but overall they fall into 4 general categories. The first category is the counterbalanced sit-down truck. This truck has a counterweight over the rear tires to balance the truck for lifting loads. The second category is a narrow aisle stand-up. As the name implies, this truck is used in narrow aisles to lift and stack materials. Some trucks may be equipped with a reach mechanism to add the ability to extend the forks several feet. The third category is an order picker. The entire operator's compartment is raised with the forks. This gives the operator the ability to pick a partial pallet at higher levels. The fourth category is a walkie rider. This truck gives the operator the ability to operate the truck while riding or walking alongside. It is generally identified by a large pivoting handle that controls direction, speed, and steering. This truck is not made for stacking material, but for transporting and ground-level order picking. Each type has specific characteristics, specific operations, and user requirements. Basic knowledge, such as the height requirements and restrictions of the work area, are important safety elements. There are several truck measurements that you should be familiar with. Let's discuss them now. Collapsed or lowered height. Collapsed or lowered height is the distance from the floor to the highest point of the truck when the mast is fully lowered. Knowing the collapsed height is important when passing through doorways, under racks, or into trailers or boxcars. This information is available on the data plate for a quick reference. Free lift. Free lift is the height that you can lift the forks before the overall collapse height of the fork truck starts to increase. Free lift is very important if you're lifting or moving materials within confined spaces, such as trailers or boxcars. Make sure you know how high your forks can be lifted before the overall height of your truck starts to increase. Maximum fork height. Maximum fork height is the maximum height that your truck can lift the load. It is the measurement from the floor to the forks when the mast is fully raised. It is important to know the maximum lift of your truck to ensure you are able to lift the load high enough to place on a storage rack. Overall extended height. The overall extended height is the distance from the floor to the topmost part of the truck when the mast and forks or platform is fully raised. Overall extended height is the most important to know to avoid sprinklers, truck roofs, and overhead obstructions.
Hello, I'm Jason Bailey, General Manager with Jacobson Companies. In order to safely operate power lift trucks, it's important to understand how the trucks are designed to safely move and lift a load.
Determining the stability of a powered industrial truck is simple once a few basic principles are understood. Stability triangle. Powered industrial trucks can safely operate when the center of gravity remains within the truck's stability triangle. The stability triangle is an imaginary area between the truck's pivot point, usually the wheels closest to the load, and the center point of the truck's rear axle. Most lift trucks, even those with 4 wheels, have a 3-point suspension because the rear axle is connected to the truck by a center pivot pin. The center of gravity is a point within the stability triangle. Add a load to the truck and the center of gravity will move in the direction of the load. The stability of the truck is affected only by the weight and distance of the load from the pivot point, like a teeter-totter, but also side-to-side balance, operating on slopes or grades, starting and stopping, cornering, and the height of a load. Under some conditions, overloading the truck, turning too fast, turning on a ramp, or a sudden stop can move the center of gravity outside the stability triangle. If this occurs, the truck will tip over. For this reason, it is important to know the capacity rating and safe operating procedures of a truck before operating it. Powered industrial trucks are engineered and rated to operate with a specific capacity, at a specific height, and on a specific grade, which is shown on the truck's data plate. Capacity is made up of 4 components: weight, height, grade, and load size. The load center is a center of gravity of the load. When the load is evenly distributed, the load center is 1/2 the length of the load. A longer load would have a longer load center. As a result, the truck would have a reduced maximum lifting capacity. But the opposite is not true. An operator should never lift more than the rated capacity of the truck for any reason. As a load is raised or the truck starts or stops suddenly, the combined center of gravity of the truck and load is affected. Do not travel with a raised load and avoid sudden starts and stops with raised or potentially unstable loads. As a reminder, Jacobson Companies recommends driving in reverse for greater visibility when no load is being transported. When loads are being transported, operators must travel in reverse. Many lift trucks are equipped with a special attachment for handling specific loads. The weight of these attachments actually creates a partially loaded truck. As a result, the lifting capacity of the truck will be reduced. Always check your capacity plate to see how this affects your truck's capacity. Each attachment must be listed on the capacity plate. If you think the load exceeds the truck's capacity, either due to its weight alone or that the combined weight and load center is beyond the truck's rating, do not lift the load. Notify your supervisor immediately. Since you cannot see the stability triangle or the center of gravity of the truck, it is important to be aware of the information on the capacity plate. This is one way to maintain awareness or anticipate potential danger. Before operating any powered industrial truck, it is important to know your truck. Part of learning about your truck is to read and understand the operator's manual. If you still have any questions, ask your training instructor or supervisor for clarification. Before placing any PIT into operation, visually inspect your truck and check its operation utilizing the equipment inspection form found on the Jacobson Company's intranet. Never assume or take someone else's word that the truck is okay. Remember that each type or model of equipment has its own unique features, and what was working properly a day before may not be safe to operate now. To thoroughly inspect the truck, check the data on the capacity plates. These plates contain specific information regarding the specifications and capacity of the truck. Do the plates match the truck and the attachments installed? Are the loads you will be handling within the rated capacity or height? Some trucks will have reduced capacities, elevated lift heights. The letters in the truck type section designate the rating of the truck for working near fire hazards or combustion-sensitive environments. Check with your supervisor for any special considerations in this area. On an electric truck, check the battery. Does its weight meet the minimum battery requirements listed on the data plate? Is it charged? Does it have the proper water level? Are all caps in place? Does it have a well-fitted cover if required? Is it installed properly? And if required, does it match the battery type specified on the data plate? Test the emergency battery disconnect. Does it work properly? Is the battery securely connected? On an internal combustion truck, check the fuel line and connections on the propane or compressed natural gas truck. Is there an odor or other sign of a leak? On gasoline or diesel trucks, check the fuel level in the truck. Look under and around the truck for any signs of a fuel leak. Check the wheels and tires for excessive cuts, and be aware of any chunk larger than a golf ball. It should be reported immediately to your supervisor. Check the fork's lifting attachments. Are they correctly positioned and properly secured? Check for any deformities. Do the hoses, chains, and cables appear to be in good shape? Are there any leaks or puddles on the floor? Are all the safety devices and guards in place and operational? Do the lights work? Do gauges and operator displays work properly? Are all warning labels able to be read? Remember, if you are not completely trained or not physically and mentally capable of safely operating a powered industrial truck, don't. Your safety and the safety of those around you are at stake. If everything checks out so far, next test the operation of the truck. Look, listen, and feel for any unusual operation, handling, or sounds. Operate all lift, tilted, and accessory controls. Do they operate correctly? Check the steering for excessive play or looseness. Check the brakes to know the stopping distance at different speeds. First slowly and then at higher speeds that you may customarily use during your workday. Does the truck move correctly through all speed ranges in both forward and reverse? On some trucks, you can slow or stop the truck by shifting into the opposite direction and applying power. This is called plugging. While plugging is convenient to provide smooth stops, it does not stop the truck as quickly as using the brakes. Does the parking brake work correctly by preventing the truck from rolling? If you experience any problems or something doesn't look or sound right, do not operate the truck. Disconnect the power to the truck and immediately notify your supervisor for further direction. Before operating a powered industrial truck in a facility for the first time, it's a good idea to take a walking tour of the building with someone familiar with the facility. Look for dangerous intersections, pedestrian traffic areas, overhead obstructions, inclines, speed limits, and surface conditions. Most people think that driving a powered industrial truck is just like driving a car. That is not true. There are big differences. For example, a car has front-wheel steering, normally travels in forward direction, and weighs in the neighborhood of 3,000 pounds. PIT weights will vary depending on the type and capacity of the truck. For example, a medium-capacity counterbalance lift truck steers with its rear wheels and regularly travels in both directions, although operating in reverse is the preferred method of travel for best vision. PIT can weigh as much as 15,000 pounds, or more than 5 cars when moving a load. Those are big differences. For this reason, it is very important to keep your entire body inside the running lines or confines of the equipment. A hand or leg caught between a fixed object will result in a serious injury. A defensive driver is a safe driver. Always be on the lookout for pedestrians and other vehicles, and always use your horn when approaching intersections, entering and exiting trailers, or anywhere that other employees may be working. All powered industrial trucks have a braking system that stops a truck's movement. These systems can be very different based on the specific type of truck. Getting the feel for the brakes during the pre-operational check is very important. When plugging your brakes, always wait until the truck has come to a complete stop before getting off. A moving truck can run over your foot or crush an arm or leg against another object before it comes to a complete stop. Never drive towards a person that is standing in front of a fixed object. If you cannot stop your truck for any reason, the person would be crushed between the truck and the object. Never drive over objects on the floor. These congruent tires can cause a truck or load to become unstable, and the operator could lose control of the truck. Take a minute to clear away any problem. Anticipate danger. Slow down before reaching wet or slippery floors, and never drive through a spill, such as water, liquid, or powder. It will reduce your ability to stop safely and may even spread a contaminant throughout the facility. Allow for longer stopping distances when operating in humid conditions. This creates a longer distance to stop your PIT. Always drive your